Republicans on the House Oversight Committee released a report today alleging that despite claiming otherwise, President Biden was actively involved in international business dealings with his family. The report claims they uncovered evidence of a conspiracy to defraud, wire fraud, violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, money laundering, and tax evasion. What else does the report indicate? And is this just the first of many investigations to come? Joining me now to discuss this and more, Congressman Pat Fallon, who serves on the House Armed Services Committee and the House Oversight Committee. He represents the 4th Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Fallon, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tony. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. With the Republicans now securing the House, it is clear the Republicans will have leadership of the various committees, including the House Oversight Committee. That means investigations will be forthcoming. Tell us about the report that was released today and what's next.
You know, Tony, it really was a bombshell report, and it's going to be interesting to see how the mainstream media handles it, because they're not going to like it. So really, there's a lot to this, and we are going to go where the evidence leads us. This isn't any kind of witch hunt. This isn't a waste of time. We need to know for certain, is Joe Biden, the president of the United States, is he a security risk, believe it or not? Is his son a security risk? Are they corrupt? And there are all the ingredients of corruption. So we are that's why we need to investigate and get people to testify under oath. So what we do know is this. In 2019, Joe Biden said that he had no earthly idea what his son was doing with his business deals. He never met any of his business partners, et cetera. So Joe Biden himself, Tony, built this firewall. Then what we do find out is he actually, in February 2014, he met with Miguel Velasco and Miguel Magnani, who were two of Hunter's business associates. And he actually took them, and there's a picture of them in the White House Brady briefing room. So that wasn't true what he just said in 2019, but not only that, he was on a video conference call, email showed, with Carlos Slim, the Mexican billionaire. And then in April of 2015, he had a dinner in Cafe Velado in D.C. with Hunter's associates from Kazakhstan, Ukraine, and Russia. So Joe Biden lied to the American people when he was running for president. Now, Tony, it leads to and begs the question, why did he lie about it?
I don't want to be dismissive of lying, but we get a lot of that from them on a number of things. And I'm being serious. I mean, they lie about everything. We've seen what they've been lying about, their policies and all of that. But I want to go back to what you said about, is the president a national security risk? Explain that.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's say, because we've got whistleblowers that have come forward and talked to the oversight Republicans and said that from 2017 onward, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden made it clear that Joe Biden was going to run for president. And if they did business with Hunter, that they would reap the rewards of a Biden administration. That is clear corruption. That is something well outside of the law. And nobody is disputing several things here. Hunter Biden was broke and had a lot of personal issues before his father was vice president. And then magically, he becomes a multi-millionaire in areas he had no experience in at all. International commerce, cobalt, natural gas, other energy deals. Why would people be so eager to do business with Hunter Biden? It begs the question, was there a direct quid pro quo? We've got people that have come forward and said there was. So we got to put them under oath and then ask them those questions again.
And if there is illegal activity that took place, which, as you said, they're not being forthright about, and there's evidence to suggest that, that would open the president up to potentially blackmail, which could result in even further damage to American security.
Can you imagine, if the Chinese had successfully or have they successfully infiltrated the Biden family? Think about what it makes a lot of sense in some of the policies, because Joe Biden's very soft on China. I mean, he met with Xi Jinping, and he didn't even ask him about fentanyl at all. We lost 80,000 Americans to fentanyl last year, and he didn't even mention it. Now, there's something else, Tony, called a suspicious activity report. Okay, this is when financial institutions, let's just say, for instance, you deposited $193,000 in cash. Now I'm just picking that figure out of the air. That's odd. That's suspicious. It may not be illegal, but it's suspicious. So they have to then fill out one of these STAR reports. And then the auditors come in, and financial institutions don't want to have to do this, but they also want to follow the law. And if Byron Donalds is a congressman from Florida, a dear friend of mine, and he's a financial expert, been in the industry for decades. He said that an average person probably won't ever get a STAR filed on them in their life. And if you do, it'd be one. The Biden family has had 150 filed against them. And we were always, as members of Congress, able to look at any STAR, but Biden changed the rules when he became president. So again, begs the question, Tony, why did he do that?
Wow, that is odd. You mentioned at the top of this that will the media cover this? And that was a question I asked. The media was all over the Democrat Congress investigation of President Trump. I mean, that was wall-to-wall news coverage, the
Right.
Russian hoax. It was just one after another during his entire 4 years. Will the media cover this?
Well, they're going to be forced to. There was a lot of media in the press conference today. Now, they might try to spin it and say, the Republicans are just going to open up a witch hunt, what have you. This is necessary. We're not saying definitively right now that we have strong suspicions, but we don't have definitive, take them to court and, reach a burden of reach that burden where you could get a conviction,
Right.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. But we very well may. And again, there's all the ingredients for this. And to not hold President Trump, and you made a good point, Tony, and thanks for mentioning it. He's the most investigated person probably in human history, for the last 4 years. And what do they find? They have nothing. They have bump-kiss. And they just continually go after the poor guy. So we're not going after. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. And this has everything to do with Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, Jill Biden, and Joe Biden. And he had nothing to do with his son's business dealings. And yet there's an email off Hunter's laptop requesting a key to his office for Jim, Jill, and his dad, Joe. Why would he do that if he wasn't working with his father?
Yeah, I think the American people deserve to know. Very quickly, we're up against a break. I assume this is just the first of many investigations, given what we've seen in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I believe that Fauci, I don't even want to say doctor in front of it, Mr. Fauci.
Mr. Science.
All Mr. Science. When you mix politics with medicine, you get Dr. Fauci. We're going to probably be looking into him. Also, Alejandro Mayorkas might as well get a parking space right by the Rayburn building, because he's going to face impeachment hearings because it's been a gross dereliction of duty. And the Oversight Committee is going to be asking him lots of questions as well.
All right. Well, we'll be standing by for the 118th Congress. Congressman Fallon, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, Tony. God bless.